So, people think that this is the best way to start Birth by Sleep by doing this character. We obviously didn't do that. So if you somehow ended up on this podcast thinking this is the start of Birth by Sleep, it's not. Go watch our Ventus podcast first. This fucking guy.
Yeah.
We're going to go over his story today and everything that we've already talked about in the Ventus story where TERRA showed up. I'm going to just skim over real quick because I'm hoping that you have that remembered at least like generally.
Kind of. I just finished skimming through our last recording just to get a reminder of what the flying fuck was going on.
A lot of things. Also a lot of things that had nothing to do with the game that we were talking about.
Also, yes. If I remember correctly, this guy was going kind of rogue after he was kicked out of the school for Keyblade
Jedi.
Jedi wielders, motherfuckers, because he had a tiny bit of darkness sticking on his hand when during the exam. Someone fucked with the exam. And then he went kind of rogue, fucked off on his Keyblade scooter, and then just kind of did his own thing.
Wouldn't you like to know the context for all that shit where we hear him like threatening princesses and stealing hearts and all that shit? Because that sounds really sus, and maybe we want a little context in there.
That would be lovely.
So, that's what we're going to do today. So, again, we start at the land of departure. There's the whole exam thing. TERRA, darkness in his hand. Xehanort is like, that's interesting. Darkness. After that, Ven goes back to his room, and Aqua goes to talk to Master Ericus, because there's the whole, now that you're a master, TERRA, you're not a master, go fuck off. We need to have a little privacy here. I'm going to tell Aqua some Keyblade secrets. So, while that's happening, TERRA goes to sit out on the stairs in front of like the castle that they train at.
Staring into the oblivion, being all anxious and shit.
Yeah, he's thinking about, was that the power of darkness? I couldn't hold it back. Am I not strong enough? All of this is like internal monologue, by the way. He's just thinking this. Mm-hmm. And Xehanort interrupts him.
What?
So apparently like Xehanort can just like telepathy into people's minds. He never does this again after this game, but maybe it's because TERRA is a dark boy. I don't know. Anyway, Xehanort shows up.
Is it actually Xehanort, or is just him being like, this is probably what he would have said, having internal dialogue with someone else?
No, Xehanort is literally just standing behind him on like the end of the staircase.
All right. Creepy motherfucker.
So Xehanort interrupts TERRA's thoughts, literally, and tells him that, in fact, no, he's not too weak to hold back the darkness. Because he needs to embrace the darkness.
Well, he just showed us that he isn't too weak to hold back the darkness, but he just did that.
Yeah, but he's like very insecure about the fact that there is darkness at all, because he's been taught his entire life, darkness bad. Everybody in the land of departure is very racist against darkness. But Xehanort's like, no, hear me out. You shouldn't like push your darkness down, because that's not good. That's gonna like build up, and it's not good. You need a balance, and for that you need to embrace your darkness. So that is the way. Once you embrace the darkness, you can control it, and he won't fail the exam the next time.
He's not allowed to use the darkness, so he needs to embrace it, use it some more, so he can resist using it the next time.
We'll get a little bit more into that dynamic as we go on, but the thing is, his master Ericus is like very anti-darkness. Mm-hmm. Xehanort, totally separate person. I mean, look at this motherfucker. Does he look anti-darkness? While TERRA's actual master is very anti-darkness, Xehanort thinks, darkness is not such a bad thing. And if you want to keep up the appearance of like fighting the darkness and like not embracing it, you're going to need to have a certain amount of control over it so that it doesn't just burst out randomly.
Yeah, that seems fair.
That's the very abridged version of like the whole theme between these characters.
I mean, I say that seems fair, but looking at this guy, it's probably not, and it's probably just the scheme to get him into the darkness. But
It totally is.
Yeah.
Again, this guy, nobody's going to believe that he's like very helpful. Other than, and I'll warn you here, people, like Kingdom Hearts fans, like to say that TERRA is kind of a dumb dude, and you will see why throughout this story. So after that conversation, Xehanort, once TERRA's left, leaves through a corridor of darkness, really telling the player, like, yeah, maybe like TERRA's believing Xehanort, but you should like red flags everywhere.
Yeah.
Ericus, meanwhile, has just been in contact with Yen Sid, an old friend of his, an ex-Keyblade master. He sensed the tides of darkness are rising, with creatures born from intense emotions popping up all across the world, and these are called the Unversed. So,
Wait, hold up. Yen Sid is a ex-Keyblade master. Is he just retired, or has he moved on, or has he been like excommunicated? Or?
Presumably retired.
All right.
Because we see one other Keyblade master in one other game decide to retire, so apparently they can just do that.
That's nice.
And I don't know what the implications of that are. I'm going to assume that in games over the next couple of years, we might get a little deeper into that. As of right now, all we know, Yen Sid used to be a Keyblade master. He no longer is a Keyblade master, but he still like has his fingers in a lot of like different plans and stuff, and he's watching over the universe and keeping an eye on like, is the darkness creeping up a little bit too much? He's guiding our heroes in this game a little bit, and of course he's like a very big mentor to Sora later on. Mm-hmm. So he's still involved, and I think it's implied that the Keyblade that Mickey has during this game, which is different from the golden one that he has in the other games, is just Yen Sid's old Keyblade that he used to have.
Oh, all right.
Yen Sid apparently has figured out that the Unversed are popping up, and this is part of the reason that people think that you should play this campaign first, because it explains the Unversed immediately, whereas in Ventus' story, the Unversed aren't explained until the very fucking end of the game.
Keeps it interesting, but yeah.
It keeps it kind of interesting, but really, it's not that important, is it? I mean, it's just like, there's knockoff Heartless here. These are the enemies, we need to kill them. Who cares about where they came from?
They're just bad guys to knock on the head.
Yeah.
Who cares?
They're literally just like little bundles of experience waiting to be gathered. Ericus has tried to contact Master Xehanort about this, because this sounds like kind of a big deal. But even though Master Xehanort was here literally a minute ago, he can't seem to reach him anymore. Because, of course, we've just saw him leave through a corridor of darkness. So he could be literally anywhere.
And he turned off his cell phone.
Yeah, and you don't have any reception in the Realm of Darkness, I assume. I don't think...
Yeah, that would make sense. Well...
I don't think there's cell towers in there. You're literally in a different dimension.
There might be no cell towers, but some cell providers, I would put them in the Realm of Darkness. Yeah.
True enough, but could you communicate between the Realm of Light and Darkness?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There might actually like be an instance of that happening, and I just don't know of it right now. What's more, cell phones haven't been invented yet. That doesn't happen until Kingdom Hearts 3. At that point, we do actually like have smartphones, but until that point, I don't know how he was trying to communicate. The way he communicates with Yen Sid is through a floating pink crystal that like emits light.
What?
I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be. It's just like behind the chair behind him there. You can see like one of the arms of the chair. Behind that chair is just a floating crystal that he uses to talk to Yen Sid.
It's like Morse code, or...
I don't know, because you don't even hear Yen Sid's voice. It literally just like floats there, and Eric is like, yes, I understand. I'll talk to my pupils about it. And I don't know what they were going for there, okay? But long story short, I don't know how he's trying to reach Xehanort, but I feel like this might also be partly on Ericus for just not trying very hard. So, what is the best course of action to do when you can't reach your totally, obviously evil best friend?
call another obviously evil best friend?
Well, he's got 2 pupils here, one of which has just been named a Keyblade Master. So he sends Terra and Aqua to, maybe I have a screenshot of that, good enough, to go find Master Xehanort and deal with the unversed outbreak throughout all of the worlds. Of course, Aqua is now a master, so he's like, you've got this, you're fine, that's cool. Terra, watch the fuck out, because you didn't do so well on the exam. And see this as a second chance.
So he's like, Aqua, you got this, go get him. Terra, you suck.
Pretty much. He says that if Terra does well on this task, it might cause Ericus to reconsider the outcome of the exam. So this is pretty much just like, you've just failed an exam, just see this as exam 2.0 immediately. Another chance for you to come back and earn the rank of Master Anakin. I mean, Terra.
Okay, so he's like, you just failed a completely controlled by us scenario playthrough of a fight, and you failed. Now, go into the real world, have some real fights, maybe come back, maybe not. If you come back, maybe you finished.
Yeah.
Fucking bastard.
He's, I don't like Ericus. I don't think anybody who really, like, looks into these characters. Ericus seems like a nice dude. Like, he's one of the good guys, right? He's for the light and he trains his Keyblade. He's as bad as Xehanort as far as, like, manipulation goes, I think.
Yeah.
Because, and he might mean well, but then again, most villains mean well too, right?
Sure. I mean, Thanos meant well in his mind. So.
Exactly, and as we'll figure out throughout this game and some of Kingdom Hearts 3 eventually, Xehanort also isn't just, like, trying to plunge the world into darkness just because he thinks darkness is hot. Like, he has a reason. Mm-hmm. By the way, that is his plan. I don't know if I made that clear yet throughout the last, like, 5 games.
That makes sense. Yeah, I gathered that much, yeah.
They go off on the task, and Terra ends up visiting the Sleeping Beauty world first, where he runs into Maleficent.
Yay!
He sets off Maleficent on her entire fucking journey to go collect the 7 Hearts. It's not entirely true, because Maleficent reveals that I have not heard of a man named Xehanort. Liar, liar, liar. Because 2 cutscenes later, it's revealed that, in fact, she has talked to Xehanort, and Xehanort is the one to put her on this path to collect the Princesses of Hearts.
Gotta catch them all.
But of course, Maleficent, at this point, is just like a person living in this world.
Still having a home.
She still has a home. She has a castle in this world.
Yay.
But it's going to be kind of difficult to collect hearts, because of course she can't rip a heart out of her body.
She doesn't have Keyblade.
She doesn't have a Keyblade. But Terra's just shown up, didn't he?
Ah.
So she tells Terra, go look in the castle. I think I saw somebody walking towards the castle. Maybe that's your master Xehanort. Go look for him. And Terra goes into the castle and finds, who else? But I think her name is Aurora. Sleeping Beauty.
Something like that. Also, if we go one slide back.
Yeah.
This, I feel kind of dumb for only seeing this now, but Terra kind of looks like the Winter Soldier. You know, one normal arm, one kind of mechanical looking arm. Dark brown hair, being an edgy boy.
Very true. I would like to say there's some more similarities in a certain way there is, but we'll get to that. I would like to note, though, that the metal on his arm, all 3 of our main characters have that. That's just like their Keyblade armor thing.
Yeah, that I know, but especially in this screenshot,
he's also ripped as fuck.
Yeah, he's ripped as fuck. He has dark brown hair, very blue eyes, and one arm that's normal, and one arm that looks kind of mechanical. You know.
I do think, like, Keyblades aside, Winter Soldier would probably kick Terra's ass.
Yeah, but that goes for a lot of... Winter Soldier has kicked a lot of ass that he shouldn't be able to kick. But, that metal arm is metal as fuck.
True. Then again, if we do enter Keyblades into the equation, I am pretty sure Terra could just like unlock that arm because you can take it off.
Yeah.
At which point, he's still a super soldier with one arm.
Yeah, but,
Anyway.
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty. Terra sees her, and he's like, sleeping woman. Probably shouldn't be in his room right now. This is, like, gonna get me cancelled. Maleficent shows up, and she's like, cancelling is good. And she does a thing, and Terra does a thing, and steals her heart.
Is he, like, being mind controlled or something?
That's pretty much what's going on. There's a little confusion.
I mean, his eyes look weird. That's kind of the universal indicator of being mind controlled.
Yeah, so Maleficent's like, I can see this darkness inside you, and I can do this little magic spell to, like, increase that darkness inside of you, and that, like, kind of lets her control Terra, is the thing that we are meant to take away from this.
All right.
And pushes him to, like, use his Keyblade, take a heart, and now Maleficent has the heart of one of the princesses. Which, very lucky for her, by the way, that her evil plan involves finding 7 people in a fucking multiverse, arguably. And she just, like, happens to live on the same planet as one of them. There's at least hundreds of worlds, if not thousands, and there's 7 of these people. The fucking odds.
Yeah, I can't deny that.
Disney logic.
Yeah.
Terra is not very happy about this happening, but figures, you know what, instead of staying in this world and maybe like getting that heart back or something, I'm supposed to be looking for Xehanort. Xehanort isn't here, so this girl without a heart now, not my fucking problem. I'm leaving.
Okay, bye.
And then we go to more old Disney stuff. Snow White, which the Queen in Snow White has the same voice actor as Maleficent, which is...
that's not confusing at all, because they are also kind of look alike.
They are pretty much the same character, except Maleficent has magic and can turn into a dragon, admittedly, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. That is...
Maleficent is just a strictly better version of the Evil Queen.
Yeah.
Oh, and Terra does actually say, I should point out, while he's walking away, he says he does vow to bring Aurora's light back, but he doesn't. Because he just leaves to the next world, and then in Ventus's campaign, as we've seen, Ventus is the one that returns her heart. So Terra vowing to do something doesn't mean shit.
He's just like, I'll first do the thing I'm meant to do to save my own career, and then I'll get back, probably, maybe.
At some point, maybe, if it's still possible,
if I remember,
or if she's not dead yet, or whatever. Assuming that I even like make it out of this entire journey, which is just a prequel, so obviously I won't.
I'll see if I have a gap in the calendar somewhere. We'll get to that.
Exactly. But Terra does wonder why Xehanort is interested in looking for these princesses of pure light. What does he want to do with them? Mm-hmm. Next up, Snow White's world. So this is where we were at. Yep. Terra starts off at the Evil Queen's castle. Are we seeing a pattern yet? Are we?
Mm-hmm.
And Terra notices the mirror on the wall, which I do not have a screenshot of, apparently. And figures, this mirror seems to know an awful lot of shit, because you can apparently ask it any question and it will have an answer. So he just steps out and says, hey, Evil Queen, can I ask that thing a question? Because I need to know something about Master Xehanort.
Hey, that Google Assistant thingy that you got that actually works, can I use that for a bit?
Yeah, it's literally Bing GPT, but better.
Yeah, actually working, yeah.
Evil Queen, of course, says, I'll happily let you use this, but I've got a bit of a problem, you see. I need you to go find Snow White and kill her. And he gets a box, just like in the original story for Snow White, to bring back her heart, which Terra takes as, this must be another heart of pure light. The Queen literally just wants the organ out of her body.
Yeah.
So Terra figures this must be another pure light princess, which she is, so good guess, but not for the reasons that he thinks. And he goes to find Snow White, which he finds her in the forest, picking flowers, because she's a pure light person, so she must be doing innocent, cute things. Also, she's a 1950s Disney character, so she doesn't have any personality, so what else is she supposed to do?
Yeah, mainly that.
And Terra notices that, hey, this girl doesn't seem evil. I'm not going to kill her. That would be a real dick move to do, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then some unversed show up. Snow White runs off into the forest. Terra takes care of the unversed. But this is kind of how Snow White got really scared. Because Terra showed up. Then a bunch of demon-looking things showed up. Terra summoned a Keyblade. And that's the last Snow White sees of that situation. So when she sees Ventus, and she's like, I got threatened by a Keyblade dude with a lot of demons around him. No, Terra was just trying to like fight off the unversed and protect Snow White. He's not evil.
Yeah, but yeah, I see the confusion. Yeah.
Of course, after Terra defeats all the unversed, he is literally in the middle of a field with one road leading down to the forest where Snow White ran into, and one road leading back to the castle. So he's got to think, okay, am I going to go after this girl and kill her to get my answers from the mirror? Or am I going to go back to the castle and just force my way to the mirror? Because I've got a Keyblade, I'm a badass motherfucker, I can just do that.
Yeah, why ask for permission? I can just bonk the queen on the head.
This queen is clearly evil, so I shouldn't, like, it's okay if I bonk her on the head.
Yeah.
Which he decides, you know what, that actually sounds like a good plan, so that's what he does. The queen throws a potion at the mirror, and the mirror absorbs Terra into it, where you have a boss fight against the face in the mirror. Don't think about it too much.
I mean, assuming it's still some sort of Bing, ChatGPT, Google Assistant, Siri kind of thingy. I can throw a potion over that to make it not work. The potion is cold water.
That's the thing. It's not that it stops working. She throws a potion at it, and now it has the power to absorb people into the mirror dimension.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
I don't think your phone can do that.
Nah, maybe not.
And if it can, you could like make a lot of money over that. So Terra kicks the mirror's ass, and the mirror is like, fine, I'll put you back in the real world, and you can ask me one question. So Terra asks, where is Master Xehanort? And the mirror, of course being very cryptic in literally everything it says, comes up with this. Beyond both light and dark he dwells, where war was waged upon the fells. Terra is like, what the fuck does that mean?
The Keyblade graveyard, I guess?
Yeah, but Terra doesn't know about that yet.
Nah, he doesn't know, but that's just my interpretation.
That is exactly what we're leaning into, is he's hanging out in the Keyblade graveyard, because at this point, if you hear Xehanort, just assume he's in the Keyblade graveyard unless you see him in another world. Because he kind of just lives there most of the time.
Yeah, that seems like his kind of vibe.
A lot of dead Keyblades around him. It's kind of like, it's his thing. Next up, Terra goes to the Castle of Dreams, Cinderella's world, where he finds yet another princess, who fucking knew, crying on a bench. The dress we worked on so hard in Ventus's campaign is entirely ruined, except it's not. Like, we can see the dress, it looks fine.
One shoulder thingy is loose?
Yeah, I suppose. I honestly, I never noticed that. I kind of just figured that's part of, like, the design, like, one shoulder bare. It might not be, now that you mention it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, it will be cool, but this is classic Disney, so it's kind of a classic dress. So.
Fair enough. This dress was.
I think it covers both shoulders. But.
Okay, so dress is ruined because she can't go to the ball showing shoulders because everybody would think she's a slut.
Ew. Yeah.
Fucking sexism.
1950s. Yeah.
Isn't this the 60s?
60s?
I think it's 60s. It's still a very, like, not good time to be a woman.
Yeah.
Except this is a Disney film, so even though it's not a good time to be her, she has her fairy godmother show up, and she's like, you know what? I can fix up your dress. I can get you a carriage. We'll fix this. And Tara's just looking on like, okay, that's kind of useful. That's kind of cool. Why the fuck are you helping her? And the fairy godmother just explains, I can see that Cinderella has a dream, and I want to help that dream come true. Do you have a dream? And Terra thinks, I do have a dream to be a Keyblade Master, but that just got absolutely fucked like earlier today, and now I'm on a mission to right that wrong, and I don't think you can help me here, lady.
Wait, no, we're still on the same day?
I don't know how long it's been. It's like 3 hours of gameplay at most so far. Probably less. So I assume that... what did we exactly do so far, right? We went to a castle, up into a girl's bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
We stole a heart, which, like...
Dick move.
Sounds like something totally different going up to... Anyway, and then we left. Different world. We went on a walk from a castle to a forest and back. We had a conversation with a mirror, and now we're here. That can't have been more than a day.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think.
Also, if this is the ruined state of the dress, still looks kind of fire.
It's a very good dress.
Yeah.
It's not as good as like the magical, almost wedding dress she wears after the spell, of course. But
yeah, but it's a bit overkill.
For somebody who is practically a slave to the people she lives with, who handcrafted this dress, mad respect.
Yeah.
So here we come to some crossover stuff.
Yeah.
We follow Cinderella to the ball because they were like, I'm going to keep an eye on her. I don't think this is going to go particularly well. Every princess I've run into so far, every light person I've run into so far, big trouble. I'm going to stalk her.
I've ruined 2 princesses up to this point, so let's keep an eye on her.
And there he runs into Aqua after making sure that Cinderella is okay. So just as he's about to leave this world, Aqua has just arrived. Aqua mentions to TERRA that Van has run away from home because Van wanted to tell TERRA something, which TERRA's like, yeah, sure, tell me when I get back, right? That happened at the start of TERRA's campaign, which I think and Ventus's, which we didn't talk about here, but that's the whole reason Ventus left in the first place.
Yeah.
And as such, part of Aqua's mission is also get Ventus back home. Of course, and she explains this to TERRA. And as Aqua goes to leave, or as he goes to leave and let Aqua do her thing in this world, TERRA wonders about the boy in the mask, which I think in this conversation also is mentioned. And
the masky with mask face.
Yeah, masky with mask face, Vanitas, whatever we like to call him. He thinks about him and the Unversed and Master Xehanorts, and wondering, could all of these incidents somehow be related to each other? Figuring that, you know what, I need some wise dude with a beard to tell me what to do, so he goes to Yensid.
Sure, because, as a female character, let's not make any, any conclusion by ourselves. Let's go find a man.
TERRA does this. Aqua just is off on her entire own adventure in this world. Aqua's a strong, independent woman who don't need Gandalf.
Yeah. Finally the first fucking independent woman in this whole goddamn series.
She makes up for... We'll get to it like when we get to her story, and then when we get to her side story in a later game, which is... It's like Attack Down for Kingdom Hearts 3 at some point was added to a disc with some other remakes, which is a story about Aqua just fully. It's quite a short game. We'll get to that, but she makes up for everybody who doesn't have a personality.
Oh, that's quite a lot to make up.
TERRA, however, goes to Yensid, but in the meantime, we see Xehanort in very low resolution because it's a very wide shot in some place. Talking to some guy.
Somehow.
And that's all we have to say there. When TERRA arrives at the mysterious tower where Yensid lives, he just so happens to see Mickey running out and taking off with his star shard. Assumedly, this is just like moments before he crashes in the fight between Van and Vanitas. TERRA goes inside the tower and talks to Yensid there. In that talk, Yensid points out that indeed the Unversed, the Masked Boy, and Xehanort's disappearance are very probably related to each other. Something that TERRA already kind of came up with in his monologue at the end of the last world, so going to visit Yensid, after all, kind of a massive fucking waste of time. But it's good to have it confirmed, I suppose. Having like a wise old ex-master, say, yeah, I think that too. So Terra's like, okay, this is one problem. These things are related.
Having a bit of confirmation. Yeah, it's always nice.
Yensid also tells Terra that while he's no longer a Keyblade Master, Yensid, that is, Terra never was a Keyblade Master, that's the whole fucking issue, he shouldn't get involved or make assumptions about anything. So, in other words, I'm glad to have helped you, but I'm retired, so could you please fuck off my planet?
I'm too old to deal with this shit. Get off.
Pretty much. So Terra leaves, going on the rest of his adventure, and Yensid ponders to himself, saying he hoped Xehanort's hearts would no longer lead him astray, implying that this is no new shit for Yensid, because Xehanort's pulled some shit in the past. Afterwards, as we see Terra flying through space on his little Keyblade glider,
looking cool.
Looking awesome, as ever.
With speed lines.
Those are very much speed lines of like stars whipping by. That's what they're supposed to be, at any rate. It doesn't look very good in motion.
They're just anime speed lines.
But it's very obviously like just a tunnel with a texture that's just like striped. So it doesn't look very good at all.
Right.
Most of these kind of scenes in these kind of areas are mostly close-ups, and I can definitely see why. But he is...
I mean, this was originally rendered on the PSP, so...
Fair enough. They couldn't do that much more, and I assume that when they made a remake, they didn't want to change too much around because of the chance of things just absolutely breaking apart. So that's fair enough.
And also, that's more work. Let's not do that.
That's entirely true. Then again, some of the cutscenes... Okay, this is a little side tangent.
Mm-hmm.
Most Kingdom Hearts games, at least the main one, so that's Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and this one, actually, got a final mix release. So that's kind of a director's cut release with a little bit of extra content, some extra super bosses thrown in for optional hard fights and that kind of stuff. Those all also got extra cutscenes in the Japanese version, which weren't voiced because it's just a director's cut, so we'll just throw in the subtitles and that's fine, right? Mm-hmm. Those final mix versions were never released outside of Japan until the HD remasters of all the games, at which point you might as well use the director's cut edition, right?
Yeah.
They did go through the trouble to voice act in both Japanese and English those cutscenes which weren't initially voice acted because they were just thrown on to the director's cut version.
Huh.
Which is not as much effort as reanimating part of a scene, obviously, but they did put some extra effort into it other than just upscaling some textures and hoping that it would run decently well on new hardware. Terra's flying through this cylinder that's very badly textured, and he is Xehanort's voice in his head, because apparently he can do that from a distance as well. Leading him to what we know to be the Keyblade Graveyard. Again, at this point in the story, you would just get like a pop-up for the name as Badlands, but we're just in some remote part of the Keyblade Graveyard talking to Xehanort, where he explains that he's been trying to guard the light from a demon he has created. It was he who created a boy in the mask by ripping out the darkness in Ventus's heart, which we already know because we talked about that last time. Saying it was to protect the boy from succumbing to that darkness. And now Xehanort needs Terra's help to fix his mistake and take out Vanitas because reasons.
And he wanted to combine the two, right?
Yeah, but he's not going to tell Terra that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But then if your end goal is to combine the two, sending someone on their way to kill one of the two, that might be a bad idea.
It's a risky move, but I think Xehanort is pretty confident in the fact that, number one, Vanitas would probably be told to stay away from Terra and just give Terra a goal to chase that he can never reach. And number two, it's probably...
Terra sucks anyway.
Terra sucks anyway. And number three, which is kind of part of Terra sucks anyway. I think at this point, if Terra came face to face with Vanitas, he'd probably just not be able to kill him to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, if Mickey can't handle him, then
it takes
doesn't
Mickey
really stand a chance.
And Ventus together for Vanitas to think that he might want to retreat.
Yeah.
And TERRA is a powerful dude. Don't get me wrong. We'll see that towards the end of his campaign. He's very strong. But I think Vanitas is also much more powerful than we see in this game as well, for reasons that we'll get to at some point in the future. And like 2029.
Fuck.
Xehanort also tells him that Vanitas will probably strike next in Radiant Garden and to go confront him there. But when TERRA gets to Radiant Garden, he says, oh yeah, we get a flashback for Ventus being left in the land of departure, la la la. Doesn't matter. TERRA lands in the Radiant Garden, and the first thing he says is, hey, Xehanort is here. That's kind of weird. Why would he send me here and then also come himself? That seems, at that point, just do it yourself, right?
Is that actually Xehanort, or is that, the sneaking into thoughts Xehanort?
No, it is actual Xehanort. Sneaking into thoughts Xehanort is also actual Xehanort.
Yeah, but not physically, right?
Oh, no, it is.
What?
He can just, like, speak, apparently, into TERRA's mind. But he doesn't have any power, like, projecting himself in front of TERRA. It's just his voice.
Wait, but on the stairs he was there, right?
Yeah, but that's because he was just physically hanging out in that world. He was just watching the exam before that.
He was just creepily standing behind him and then beaming his thoughts.
Yeah, very creepy old man, dude.
I was thinking like that was some sort of thought projection thingy.
No.
He was just being a creep.
He's just being a creep and being dramatic because TERRA is being like a angsty dog boy at the bottom of the stairs. He's like, I'm going to keep standing here, and when he hears my voice in his head, he's going to whip his head around for reasons. And I'm going to be standing here and it's going to look very epic, which... define epic.
Yeah.
So TERRA immediately gets distracted by chasing down a big-looking Unversed, which, as we know, leads into him running into Ventus and Aqua, and them having a little bit of a disagreement, to say it lightly. Fun detail about this cutscene, though. It's not just the exact same cutscene playing. Because we're watching this from TERRA's perspective, a fair few of the angles, I think I have an example here. Yeah, this example here. This angle is unique to the TERRA version of this cutscene. We actually see different camera angles.
And that is pretty cool.
So they could have totally gotten away with just replaying the same cutscene.
Because in the cutscene we have seen from Van, we never see his face in this situation. We just see the backside. Right?
Yeah, we look over Ventus' shoulder onto TERRA walking away, and here we focus on TERRA walking away from his two friends, which indeed reveals his face. And honestly, that doesn't say much because all these characters have 5 facial expressions at most.
Yeah, but it is pretty cool.
But it is pretty cool that there's 2 or 3 different unique angles in this version of the cutscene specifically. I don't know if many more cutscenes do this. This is the only one where I noticed it. TERRA, after he leaves his friends, quickly runs into our good old friend Braig, which you will note has different colored eyes and less spiky ears.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave that there. I'm not gonna tell you what that means today. Unless you can figure it out for yourself. This game was released in 2008. We didn't get the answer of what that means. Most people didn't even notice that until we retrospectively got a reveal in 2012.
Wait, hold on. Who is this? Who is this again?
This is the human form of Zigbar, the guy with the arrow guns.
Oh yeah,
the sassy motherfucker.
Yeah.
I mean, with the information you have now, you're not going to get it. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, so his eyes brown. The rest of the series, his eyes very yellow.
Yeah.
Again, this is one of the few cutscenes where they are brown. Most people didn't even notice until years later and they went back. So, but I just want to point it out now because I do have future information to just set things up for you. So that they're a little less jarring maybe when things happen.
Maybe, hopefully. Probably not.
Probably not. But he says, hey, you know Xehanort? I hear you're looking for Xehanort. I've got Xehanort. I've got him chained up. You should come.
Opens his jacket. Want to buy some Xehanort?
I've got quality Xehanort here for you. You have no idea how close that is to the truth. But no, he's got Xehanort tied up somewhere in the outer gardens of Radiant Garden and tells Terra to come meet him if he wants to save Xehanort. Otherwise, he'll just kill the old man. That's no big deal. And Terra thinks to himself, there's no way a thug like you could literally tie up one of the most powerful beings in the universe, Keyblade Master Xehanort.
Yeah.
But then again, it would be kind of a dick move if Xehanort was tied up and Terra didn't go save him. So he should go check.
Probably, maybe, obviously, definitely a trap, but sure.
Definitely. But when have you ever met a main character that didn't walk into a trap? Even that's a thing main characters do, is they recognize things for being a trap. And of course, Terra definitely also suspects this of being kind of fishy, what's going on here. But for story to happen, people need to walk willingly into traps, which is just stupid.
Yeah.
But that's how stories work.
I was just thinking, we saw a movie recently that was like that. I was thinking which one, but Guardians 3.
Guardians 3.
That's a whole thing of it's a trap. Well, yeah, I know, but we need to do the thing. So
we need to have a standoff.
I'm going to into the trap because I know it's a trap, so it's a double whammy.
Yeah, no, the Guardians 3 is just walking from one trap into the next trap. It's it's kind of insane how how it's still a good movie because
yet it works.
Because it works. And here, of course, it's very much less so working and more so it's just kind of suspension of disbelief that you have when main characters walk into traps. That's just kind of what they do.
Does Terra at least recognize that it's a trap?
I don't think he specifically recognizes that it's a trap, but he does note that something doesn't seem right about Master Xehanort getting captured by this dude.
All right, yeah, close enough.
So that works well enough. Going into the gardens, indeed, Master Xehanort is chained up, which I'll ask you this one time. If you have a chain link like this, right?
Yeah.
What is the best way of making sure that these things stay tight?
Having some sort of ratchet on them, so...
Actually, that works. I was going to say a lock.
Oh, yeah, that would also work.
In which case, kind of an idiotic thing to tie up a Keyblade wielder with chains. Yeah.
Yeah, fair point.
At this point, probably rope would have been better.
Also, tying up someone like this is just dumb.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No,
he can very easily just shimmy his arms up and be out of there.
But as we know, Terra doesn't, because again, Terra's a bit of a dumb boy. Of course, Xehanort is in on this. We saw him talking to Braig before in that other screenshot, and it's just all staged. So any issue with the entire plan we have is just, let's chalk it up to Terra being an idiot.
Yeah.
Terra fights Braig, which doesn't go well for Braig. And it turns out that Braig is doing this entire thing because he thinks, hey, if I can lure Terra into here and I have some leverage with Xehanort, I can defeat Terra. And for some reason, he thinks that if he defeats Terra, he can then get his Keyblade.
Wait, what the hell is he holding if that's not a Keyblade?
That is a gun.
Oh.
Just straight up a gun. Well...
So Terra brings a key to a gunfight.
Yeah. Xigbar is a sniper.
No.
So he's got two guns which can just work as normal guns. When he puts them together, it turns into a sniper rifle kind of thing.
Pretty cool.
Terra, of course, doesn't want to fire back because he's like, okay, if I fire back, you're going to literally blow up this old man. I don't think I can really have that on my list of things that I fucked up today.
Yeah.
Xehanort, however, shouts at him to not hold back and fucking use all the darkness that he wants to eliminate this threat, which Terra does with a very princess-looking Keyblade.
Yeah.
It's kind of silly. This cutscene compilation is taken from actual gameplay and not the theater mode. And in actual gameplay, it shows the Keyblade you have equipped at that point.
I see.
And this is just the best Keyblade you have unlocked at that point in the game. In theater mode, it just shows that default Keyblade, which is their canonical Keyblade. So Terra shoots some balls of darkness into Braig's face, and that is why Braig has an eye patch. Or Xigbar has an eye patch.
Yeah.
because Terra is a darkness boy, and Terra is absolutely fucking mortified by what he just did. Because last time when he felt the darkness, he suppressed it. He's like, no, I'm not going to use that. This time he gave into it, and that's the power of dark. I should not have done that. Xehanort, of course, having been freed by a stray blast of darkness, just
Obviously.
because why not, makes his way down very, very quickly and says, no, that's good. You've taken your first step into, like, actual mastery of this stuff. Terra says, now that I've used the power of darkness, I can't go home. I can't face Master Erica's and my friends having succumbed to the power of darkness. And Xehanort simply answers, well, then just don't go home.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, that works.
If you need a master, I'm a Keyblade master. That's fine. I can teach you the power of balance and darkness. Because, you see, Erica's too has succumbed. Not to darkness, but to the power of light. And it's only natural that everybody in the land of departure, being such light-filled people, would cast shadows on Terra's heart. And the real trick there being there needs to be a balance of light and darkness, both within the worlds and within people.
Metaphorically speaking, sure, whatever.
I would like to point out, this is what Xehanort tells Terra.
Yeah.
Well, physically, we should take a step.
Logical with this.
We should take a step back and reiterate, remember, really, that when we're talking about light and darkness, I'm not talking about, like, the sun and shadows.
Yeah, I know.
They just have the same words for totally separate, like, metaphysical concepts.
I know, but when you take that and try to make an analogy with, actual physical light and darkness and shadows and stuff, then at least make it coherent. The fact that there's a lot of light somewhere does not equal a lot of shadow. That's like the opposite of what happens.
Kind of and kind of not. Because if you...
Well, depends on where you put the lights, but...
Where you put the light... If you put the lights, like, in a closed-off room, and at this point you're getting pretty philosophical, but you could argue that the walls of that room cast shadow on the outside. But, like, there's a sun outside, so you don't notice that. And if there's no sun outside, you also don't notice it. So, does something cast a shadow if you can't see the shadow?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Does a Keyblade unlock a hole if there's nobody around to see it? Long story short, Xehanort says that by embracing the power of darkness, Terra here is the one that shows a true mark of mastery. Because he's not afraid of the darkness anymore. He's willing to use it. And Xehanort looks around and, do I have a screenshot of that? Nope, I don't. And calls him Master Terra, which this is a personal moment for me, because in interviews later on, it's been confirmed that this doesn't count as Terra being an official Keyblade master. And I say bullshit.
It's just him being all manipulative, like, yes, you're doing very well. Yes.
I mean, fair enough, but Xehanort is a Keyblade master. He has the authority to name other wielders a master. If he says Terra is a master, Terra is a goddamn fucking Keyblade master.
Yeah.
I mean, he's evil, but he's still a Keyblade master.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So I maintain, and this, like, I want you to know that this is, like, canonically not a fact, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I maintain that Terra should be considered a Keyblade master from this point forward.
If there's just one master required to make that decision, then yeah.
As far as I know, yes, because... Yeah, definitely. We'll get to that game later, but there's a game which I've hinted at a couple of times where we see Master Xehanort and Erica's training before they were masters.
Mm-hmm.
And they only had one master.
Yeah.
So, which I want to say right now, you might assume could be Yen-Sid.
That will make sense.
It's not.
Obviously not, because it makes sense.
That's a little pet peeve of mine. They hint at the connection here, and then when we actually see their master, it's not Yen-Sid, which, again, we'll get to that when we get to that game in a little while.
But the only way you could recall this declaring of Terra being a master, if there's some sort of council of masters that can revoke this guy's masterness. So the fact that he declares Terra a master also with that goes away. You could
you could argue
maybe
you could argue that at this point he doesn't have like the worlds and the Keyblade Jedi's. I'm going to keep calling them Jedi's because that's what they are at this point.
Yeah.
Best interest at heart anymore, and that then, like, as a result, even without it explicitly being stated, makes him no longer an actual Keyblade Master, and as such, he wouldn't have the authority to do so.
Yeah, but who has the authority to say that he's no longer a master at this point? Is there some council or whatever?
At this point in time, there isn't.
All right, then Terra's just a master already.
At this point in time, as far as I am aware, the only two Keyblade Masters in existence at the start of Birth by Sleep are Ericus and Xehanort. Every other Keyblade Master, or even wielder for that fact, more or less, is dead or retired.
Well, Mickey is a Keyblade wielder.
Mickey as well. You do make a good point. He is at the start of this game. So yeah, okay, Mickey. There's a few other ones around as well, which I'm not going to get into yet because those are characters we haven't talked about yet. Which, strictly speaking, you could argue that those characters that, again, we're not going to get into, are a higher rank and could revoke that kind of title, probably. But they haven't. Very, very far from it, as a matter of fact. But that's getting into very spoilery talk.
So, conclusion, Terra is a master.
I think so. It's not that important at all. But as far as I am considering who is a master and who isn't, at this point we have Ericus, Aqua, Xehanort, Terra, and I think Mickey as well already as a Keyblade Master. That's it.
And Jensid is the retired Keyblade Master.
Yeah, and we've got Jensid, and there's also, I'll just tell you right now, there's a large implication that the person who trained Xehanort and Ericus is still around, because at the end of their game, he retires as well. And there are some fan theories that he is, after all, Jensid, and when he retires, he just takes a new name and stuff, because he also has a big grey beard. Anyway, want to move on?
Yeah.
Let's move on. A little while later, after Terra's fucked off and gone to a different world, Brig shows up again. This time, very bandaged and shooting at Xehanort, which doesn't do anything because Xehanort has a shield around him. He's just casually, almost passively blocking these literal sniper rifle bolts.
Please tell me he has some sort of line about an eye for an eye.
No.
God damn it.
But there is something interesting going on with the fact that this character is now missing an eye, which is a fan theory that I came up with on my own, which we'll talk about at some point.
Yay.
After Kingdom Hearts 3. At the end of that, we'll talk about that.
Well, as a sniper dude...
this is going to be real difficult.
Well, actually, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. On the other hand, if you're lining up a shot, you close one eye anyway, so maybe it just made it a bit easier.
I don't know, wouldn't you... I have no idea how snipers work, but wouldn't you want to have the option of using either eye to line it up, or would you always just have... You probably would favor one eye because of the way you hold it if you're left or right-handed.
Definitely. Having been active at a shooting range for a few years, I'm left-handed. So my left hand is on the barrel, meaning the gun is against my right shoulder. So I'm looking with my right eye.
And I sure as hell hope that Zigbar is left-handed.
Yeah.
Or actually right-handed, because we'll see in his right eye, but for him that's left. So
yeah. But as a yes, lining up the shot, looking through your scope. You're looking with one eye. But judging distance is, quite a thing if you're being a sniper dude.
Yeah.
And having 2 eyes to judge the distance is very useful. So he's fucked either way.
He's fucked either way. That being said, I believe that if you're like a sniper, there's going to be an issue, obviously. But if you've lived your entire life with 2 eyes, your brain is able to pretty well compensate for losing an eye as far as like distance judging goes.
You learn how to deal with it. Your brain is fucking amazing at that.
But I do believe that if you're a sniper, it's still going to be an issue because that's very fine-grained stuff.
At least for the first few months or even years, it takes a bit for your brain to get used to that.
Yeah, especially if your eye just like gets blown out, and not if you like slowly lose it through like it degrading. If it just suddenly I only have one eye, that's going to be very jarring.
I recently had an experience with sort of something like this.
Did you get shot in the face by darkness?
No. I recently got new glasses, and I've had my old glasses for so freaking long that my eyesight got a bit worse, and somehow my brain started to take the blurriness of something into account for judging distance. So when I got my new glasses and I could see sharply into the distance, my brain was like, what the fuck is going on? Why is everything flat?
Kind of reminds me of those glasses that turn things upside down, and then when you take off the glasses, everything after like a day or two.
Yeah. Your brain reverts, and then when you take them off, you're fucked again, and then it takes another few days to get it back. Something like that, yeah.
Your brain is very flexible as far as eyesight goes, is the bottom line here. Then again, I still would prefer 2 eyes. And clearly, Braig also would have preferred 2 eyes because he's kind of mad at Xehanort. But Xehanort's having none of that shit. And Zigbar, Braig, I'm using the names interchangeably. It's the same fucking person. It's like, calm the fuck down. I'm a little bit iffed about like not having an eye anymore, but at least he didn't steal my heart. To which Xehanort replies, Mario Kart. To which Xehanort replies, he didn't need to worry about that. Somebody like TERRA still has way too much light in him to steal another person's heart.
Except for the one princess where he already did that, but that was under the influence of someone else. So, yeah.
That's the question, isn't it? Because that's what Braig asks as well. So he says, so he wasn't the one to steal Princess What's-Her-Face's heart? Xehanort just smirks. Implication being that while TERRA was being controlled and like stealing the heart, Xehanort was probably just like around the corner doing the actual unlocking of the heart because TERRA couldn't have done that. It's only there to make TERRA feel bad about doing that and put him closer to the darkness.
All right. Also, kind of insulting, having lost and being beaten by a Keyblade that has 2 eyes.
It's 1 eye. Well,
1 eye.
It's just 1 eye going through the middle. That's very important. That it's 1 eye, not 2 eyes.
There was another Keyblade that had 2.
Oh yeah, no. There's a bunch of Keyblades and weapons that have this same eye on them, but I don't think any of them have 2. Maybe I don't remember. I don't think so.
Anyway,
this specific eye in this specific Keyblade there's only like the 1, which is relatively important for future reference. I'm not going to tell you why. Because Mario Kart!
Yeah.
We go to Disney Town.
Actual fuck.
And there we meet Pete again, which I think I have a screenshot of, but now he's Captain Dark instead of Captain Justice, because Justice didn't do the thing, so now he's an anti-hero. And because it's Sarah's campaign, this is the only one where he presents as a darkness boy, because subtlety doesn't exist in Kingdom Hearts.
So he's Deadpool?
No, he's just Pete, but with like dark outfit.
Oh, I just realized something.
Oh my god.
Talking about Deadpool. Deadpool is coming into the MCU.
Yeah.
I want to see Sora interact with Deadpool.
I'm gonna make you very happy because while maybe directly interacting with Deadpool is up for grabs whether or not that's going to happen. There's a character in this series which we haven't been introduced to yet. It's a very important character going into phase 2, which might as well be Deadpool as far as personality goes.
Also, in the sense that he's aware that he's in the game?
I theorize that he is.
Ooh.
It's not been explicitly stated, but I am pretty sure that he is aware that he's in a game.
He's not just looking into the camera and saying, "The fuck was that move? You're an idiot."
No, he doesn't break the fourth wall.
Okay.
Not explicitly, but he does. Like, he seems to know that things that he does follow certain storytelling tropes, and he comments on, "Yeah, I know it's a little cliche, but." That kind of thing.
All right.
And I'll explain more once we get around Kingdom Hearts 3, when all this like phase 2 stuff is getting set up and this character gets introduced. I'll talk a little bit more about him and why I think he is aware of being in a game. But there's a character that is pretty much Deadpool, to the point where it's one of the characters that to this day we haven't seen his face. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if his hood gets pulled back and we literally just see the Deadpool mask. That's how close they are. I would be annoyed because it would be like he is a major character, and usually major characters are just like original characters. But yeah, so Pete is brewing up trouble in his car, and there's Unverse around as well. So Terra figures, you know what, I'm gonna do like a Mario Kart style race with them, and then leave to an actual important world.
It sounds like a fun minigame.
It out of all the minigames that you have in Disney Town, because every character has their own minigame. Ventus has the ice cream machine, which is a rhythm game. Terra has the Keyblade glider. Mario Kart, which is... It's not Mario Kart, by the way. It's very, very much simpler than Mario Kart. And then Aqua has like a volleyball minigame where you play volleyball with fruits.
What?
Yeah, it's against Unverse as well, which is very nice that the Unverse show up in both Terra's minigame and Aqua's minigame with a lot of sportsmanship.
Yeah.
So Terra also has like 3 tracks, I believe. So it's also the minigame that Ventus also has a number of songs. It's all fine.
Are the driving mechanics like any good?
No.
Yeah.
They are very stiff.
Just as a bit of reference for the people listening, I'm like very much a sim racing kind of dude. I have the whole kit and caboodle with the chair and the steering wheel and the pedals and the whole thing. These sort of things are notoriously bad for actual racing.
Yeah, no, it's...
most of the time it's just some sort of... either it's the developers being like, it's just a minigame, we're not going to put too much time into all the physics and stuff.
Oh, 100%.
Or it's we're going to put none time into the physics stuff and just some ready-made bullshit and throw it in there.
Yeah, 100%. It's they didn't put too much attention into it. Turning is an absolute fucking nightmare. There's no... You need to break through the turns, which makes sense, right?
Break through the turns?
Yeah, because the turning is so fucking bad that if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to make any of the turns.
Well, normally you break before the turn, then you take the turn, and then you go put on the throttle again.
Yeah, but the thing is, in kart racing games, usually you break through the turn because you can drift.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
They have like the when you're braking, your turning does become more sensitive. So you can actually like semi-drift through turns, except there's no drifting mechanic. So you just slow down and have better turning control and then speed back up. It's actually horrible.
Yeah, that sounds like it sucks.
It's not fun at all.
Anyway, Hercules is here.
We're back in Olympus with pre-serum Steve Rogers, and Terra thinks, you know what? This seems like a setting where people fight each other a lot, which is the case. So he enters the games. He tries to anyway. He gets turned down until
Yeah.
Until Hades shows up and gives him a pass into the games, the tournaments. And I took this screenshot and it looked really sus. So yeah, Terra doesn't really trust Hades, but Hades is like, you just go into the tournament, that's fine. There you will learn to harness the power of darkness more. You need to put yourself into the situation and there you'll learn. And so I was like, I don't know about that, but I don't know what else to do, so I might as well.
And it is very convenient that all these bad guys are, always having the same goal. Very useful.
I think the logic here is that Hades already has like one pawn in the games because his goal, of course, is to kill Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
But sees Terra also being very affectionate with the darkness, at least struggling with it, and figures, having two people on my side potentially killing Hercules is probably better than one, so might as well. So it's more of they share the same method with different goals type of deal.
Yeah.
So Terra goes into the games where he runs into Zack, the Final Fantasy character that everybody who's played his game loves. He's been controlled by the power of darkness, as you can see, because there's black and purple around him, and he doesn't have pupils.
And his eyes looks weird, so being mind controlled.
And he's a bitch of a boss fight, I'll tell you, because there's two fights back to back. One of them, he's got his helmet on and he's a total pushover. Then Hades goes in and does like his little darkness stuff. And after that, his boss fight is so fucking... He moves and teleports all over the place. It's an actual nightmare. It's a pretty fun fight, but quite difficult because Terra, you can probably imagine, I think I talked about this before, Terra is the more tank base of the three because you've got the more balanced and speedy Ventus, you've got a magic user with Aqua, and then Terra is the more tanky character, which makes him very bad for dealing with fast-moving and teleporting enemies.
Oh, yeah.
Which this character definitely is. So it's a pretty harsh fight, but after that, apparently I don't have anything else. After that, we go to Lilo and Stitch.
Also, the thing in the previous slide, the thing in front of his face, is that a sword or some sort of keyblade?
That is just his sword. He just has a normal, like an actual sword.
All right.
Which, for a little bit of context for his game, which we're not gonna, maybe we'll do at some point, because it's a really good game, or at least a good story. And there's an HD remake of it now, so I need a reason to replay it, really. Because originally his game is also a PSP game, and now it's on the PS4. But it's not a remaster like these games, it's an actual like ground-up remake. It's just same story, but like just made in Unreal. He is a soldier for an organization, and his mentor has the... you remember the big fucking sword that Cloud has in Kingdom Hearts 1? The one with the bandages on it?
Yeah.
That sword he got from Zack, because Zack is Cloud's mentor. So that sword is kind of like a heirloom, but instead of passing it through the family, it's passed through like apprentice to apprentice. So this is a younger Zack before he gets that sword. And spoiler,
so
Zack dies.
This sword he's so this sword he's holding now eventually becomes that, or
no,
he just gets it at some other point.
He just, I guess I'll just like explain it a little bit right now because I do think it would be a fun game to cover at some point. This is just like a standard sword that he gets in what might as well just be the army. But his mentor has his own big ass, that sword, the boss's sword, as it's called. And at some point, things go wrong, and you desert the army. Your mentor is missing, and he finds his mentor, and that's a boss fight. You fight that dude, and when your mentor dies, which is a pretty emotional scene altogether, he like bestows his big ass sword on you. Then there's a time skip at which point he's back in the army and now he has the big ass sword where he meets Cloud, which kind of restarts the whole fucking cycle again. But this time he's the mentor and not the student. That's a very compressed version of his entire story. I don't really have too much to tell about Stitch, to be honest. I only have 1 point. And that is Time to go hang out with Stitch, who instantly steals Terra's Wayfinder, which we can see here. And that really upsets Terra because it reminds him of his friends, of course. And Stitch is curious, what the fuck is a friend? And that's about it, because the entirety of Terra's story in this is leading up to Stitch's escape, and then Ventus and Aqua actually deal with like the actual story of this world. So Terra doesn't really do anything here except introduce the concept of friendship to Stitch.
All right.
Neverland!
Yeah.
Which we just so happen to land next to Captain Hook, because Terra is intrinsically drawn to the bad guys in this game.
Apparently.
And Captain Hook is being attacked by the Unversed, so Terra, being the good guy that he is, takes care of the Unversed, because that's what he does. He's a Keyblade wielder, there's Unversed, because there's no Heartless yet apparently, and he takes care of them, no matter who the one in danger is. Probably should have just let Hook die, gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, maybe.
And Captain Hook tricks Terra into protecting this treasure over here from Peter Pan, because Peter Pan is evil, and for some reason Terra thinks that the treasure chest doesn't contain like pirate treasure, even though these guys are clearly pirates, but he thinks that the treasure contains light.
Does he have any concept of pirates?
Sora does, but he lives on an island, so fair enough.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't.
Also have a very fabulous Keyblade.
Yeah, that's the Keyblade you get from the Stitch world.
Yeah, makes sense.
You can't see it through the dagger, but it's like Stitch's spaceship on the very end. That red bit there.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. And then the blue swirlies that make up the I like the hyperdrive trails. It's kind of a cool design. Yeah. So of course you fight Peter Pan, and Peter Pan is like, "The fuck are you doing? You've been tricked. There's no light in there. There's only pirate treasure." And that's about it for that world.
All right.
There's not too much to mention in most of the Disney worlds.
In the same vein as Terra having any concept of what the fuck a pirate is, does Peter Pan have any concept of what light or darkness in that context even means?
Maybe, probably not.
Are any of the Disney people, apart from like Maleficent and stuff, aware of light and darkness?
I'm going to say for the most part no, because they don't seem to be aware of hearts either. Like we had in this game, when Terra gets tasked to kill Snow White and bring back her heart, the evil queen doesn't mean like her heart, her Kingdom Hearts heart. She means the literal organ in her body. And in the same way, in Kingdom Hearts 3, we have another go at the Pirates of the Caribbean world, where there's like a box that everybody's looking for the entire game. And of course, in the Pirates movies, there's a box that contains Davy Jones's heart.
Yeah.
All of the Kingdom Hearts characters, of course, assume that means his like light, darkness, metaphysical heart. And it's actually, there's made a point there where at the end, you have, what's his face, stabbing Davy Jones's heart. And everybody sees it's an actual heart. And the organization member that is stationed in that world to like research this, it's like, what the fuck? I'm out of here. That's gross. That's weird. So, no, I think most of the Disney characters aren't aware of hearts, and by extension, I don't think they would be aware of like light and darkness and stuff like that.
Apart from a few bad guys like Maleficent and Hades.
Yeah, Maleficent and everybody who works with Maleficent at least is aware of it. And other than that, I think every Disney villain that's just like doing Disney villain shit and not related to Maleficent in any way, I think is just kind of doing that Disney villain shit without knowing about darkness. Like the Queen of Hearts, for instance, in Alice in Wonderland.
They're just bad people.
They're just bad people. They're not trying to fill the world with darkness. The Queen of Hearts specifically is a good example because Alice is on trial in Kingdom Hearts 1 because of the Heartless showing up, and somehow they think Alice is responsible. So the Queen of Hearts has no idea what Heartless are, or that they are like come from the darkness and stuff. So long story short,
that would be that would be kind of ironic, being the Queen of Hearts.
Well, that's the point, though, right? Isn't it? She's the Queen of Hearts, not the Queen of Heartless.
Yeah.
Hey. Anyway, so that's all the Disney shit out of the way for this campaign. Let's talk about Kingdom Hearts bullshit.
Yeah.
Terra lands on the next world, which might look vaguely familiar, because it's his turn to walk around the Destiny Islands, where he sees a little tiny
Oh.
Riku and Sora,
Oh.
which are at this point are like 4 and 5 years old or something like that. They look very much older than 4 and 5 years old. I am aware.
Yeah.
This is anime.
Well,
Don't think about it.
Yeah. Kind of thing.
So Terra sees Riku, and Riku sees Terra, and Terra does the thing because Terra thinks, "Hey, this Riku kid, he seems like a solid bloke, right? He seems like a nice dude. He seems like me, and I haven't done anything wrong so far."
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask him, "What's up with your life?" And Riku says, "I heard there was a kid on the island here a long time ago, and he left. And he left for good. He never came back." And then he asks Terra, "Are you from the outside world? Are you from another world? Because I think he left to another world. I have no reason to believe this. I just think that because I'm 5 years fucking old." And Terra's like, "You got me. I'm from a different world. And yes, you can be too." And he takes out his Keyblade, and in the same ritual that we see him like do a mock version of in Ventus' story, offers the handle of his Keyblade to Riku and has a monologue. I don't think I have the exact monologue here. No, I don't. It doesn't matter that much. All that you need to know is that Terra offering up his Keyblade to this, to Riku like this, and Riku touching the hilt, gives Riku the potential power to wield a Keyblade in the future, which we know he does.
Okay. But
That's how he got it.
so Terra sees a little child walking around, being like, doing child things, looking at him for 10 seconds and thinking, this probably good kid. Let's just make him important.
Yep, that's literally what happens. Because Terra now, remember, Terra is a master, so he has the responsibility to find new students now because he's a master. At least that's what he thinks. And I see, yes, indeed. Maybe he's not quite a master because it's not a very responsible way to go about it. So this is how Riku eventually gets the Keyblade that he does, because you can pass down the ability to wield a Keyblade like this.
Yeah.
And Terra tells him, "But do keep this a secret though, because we can't fuck up continuity."
Yeah.
So that's why we've never heard about Terra before, even though Riku has met him.
Because he was like, this is a prequel. We didn't think of this before, so shut the fuck up.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So that aside, that's just a little bit of setup for, or background information rather, for how Keyblades work, I guess. After that, Terra goes back into space because there's nothing to do in this world. And Master Xehanort...
So he literally, he just gets on Destiny Island,
yes.
does the thing with Riku, is like, okay, my plot here is done. Bye-bye.
Yeah. I'll tell you one better. Destiny Island's not a playable world at all. It's just a cutscene. For all 3 characters, actually. So then he leaves and goes back into the cylinder with a bad texture on it.
Yeah.
And he hears Xehanort call out to him to come see him. And he even calls him Master Terra. Xehanort, I don't know if I don't have a screenshot of it. God damn it. Xehanort is on top of a massive rock because Terra is still on his Keyblade glider. And there's urgency here, so they didn't want to animate Terra getting out of his armor and then back into his armor. So he's still on his glider, just gliding around. Xehanort needs to be on eye level though, so he's just on a massive fucking rock for no reason. He tells Terra that Ventus is on his way back home to go confront Master Ericus about his origins and about Vanitas. And he fears that Ventus might not be entirely of sound minds and might try to force the truth out of Ericus. So, long story short, hey, stuff is going on there. Maybe you should go, check it out.
Get to it already.
And that is where we see, indeed, in Ventus' story, we saw Terra making the save just before Ericus kills Ventus. And this time, it's an actual boss fight. So we get to fight Master Ericus, the fuckhead.
Yay.
And funny little detail here is there's these gameplay style augments that you can do if you, for instance, use fire spells a number of times in a row. You get a boost in fire and your whole melee combo changes to be fire elemental. And there's a number of different command styles, they're called in this game. Obviously, Terra has one themed around darkness, because he's a dark boy.
That's his thing.
That's his thing. This fight starts with him in that command style, and every time you would have gone into any command style, in this fight it's overridden to always just go into that darkness one. Terra is like just really like into the darkness now.
Just to fuck around with your old master who really hates the darkness.
Yeah.
Just smack it in his face.
He even says the exact same line that he says in a flashback to Xehanort, where he's like, "Has the darkness taken you, Xehanort?" He says that exact same line, "Has the darkness taken you, Terra?"
Nice.
He's very anti-darkness. Of course, we beat his ass because we use darkness, and darkness is strong. Oh. And as Master Ericus falls to his knees, he admits that maybe it wasn't a good idea to attack a helpless, like, child. And that he's been too focused on only trying to fight the darkness and not notice that raising his own Keyblade against his own pupils means there's darkness inside himself too. And he admits that he was blinded by the goal of just eradicating darkness.
You could say he was blinded by the light.
Yep. As Terra also falls down to his knees, trying to catch his dying master in his arms. I don't have a screenshot of it. Ericus like fades away into a bunch of sparkles after being hit in the back. Oh, we do have it here. After being hit in the back by an attack from who else but Xehanort?
Motherfucker.
Xehanort sent Terra here, knowing that he would protect Ventus, and in doing so, weaken Ericus enough to the point where Xehanort is finally able to finish off Ericus, who now can't stand in his way to create a Keyblade.
I knew it.
That is Keyblade with the Greek letter key.
Yeah, the Keyblade.
The Keyblade.
Yeah.
Xehanort, having kind of gotten everything out of Terra that he needs, drops the facade. He's no longer like the misunderstood, I've made a mistake and I need your help. He's just like, no, I'm evil and I'm going to literally blow up this world.
Oh, shit.
Telling Terra that he no longer has a home. Matter of fact, he doesn't have a need for a home. He tells Terra to come meet him at the Keyblade graveyard, where he will see his two best friends in the world die, and the last light within Terra will be extinguished. Fun fact, after this, Terra, of course, summons his Keyblade trying to attack Xehanort, who just leaves. But this is the point where Terra stops referring to him as Master Xehanort and only Xehanort. So clearly, killing his master and blowing up his home, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Now his respect is gone.
Well, yeah, that would do it, yeah.
I do like I always say that Kingdom Hearts doesn't have any subtlety, and for the most part that's true. But in little dialogue, things like this, him always referring to him as Master Xehanort, but at some point, without making a big fuss out of it, just changing to Xehanort, I think is a pretty nice, decently subtle writing trick. From there, we go into the same pre-action scene that we've talked about. Terra admits, yeah, I helped Xehanort accidentally kill the master. Vance is like, hey, I want to die because I am a Sora.
Whoopsie daisy.
And then we get into the actual battle, where Terra is on top of a giant rock structure that we see Xehanort pull out of the ground. I don't know if you remember the cutscene too well.
Kind of.
Where Terra uses the power of darkness, saying, I'm gonna kick your ass. You've used me. You have led me astray, but now I've got control over this power, and you're gonna feel that. And you have a boss fight against Xehanort. So in the most underwhelming boss fight ever, it's a boss fight against Xehanort. You'd think, oh, this is gonna be like super epic.
Yeah.
It's not. We absolutely destroy him. Because it turns out this isn't the final boss of this campaign. Xehanort wanted to lose to us. And he wanted to lose to us while we, Terra, were using the darkness. Because, as you can see in this next screenshot here, Xehanort stabs himself in the chest with his Keyblade.
No, that's the second character in this series who does it.
Exactly. Since Sora was just like a little baby boy who didn't know what the hell he was doing, he didn't really have control over what happened there. Xehanort, however, sets his heart free from his body, which then starts floating up towards Kingdom Hearts, which is above them. Xehanort, however, pulls it back down and shoots it towards Terra. Terra?
So he weaponized his own art?
Yep.
Nee, it's hardcore.
That is really hardcore. As Xehanort's body fades away, Terra tries to protect himself by like enabling, like spawning in his armor. For a moment, we think, okay, Xehanort is gone, Terra's got his armor, he's fine.
Should be fine.
But then we see the armor fall to pieces around him onto the ground.
Uh-oh.
Next shot is a shot of Terra with white hair and yellow eyes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Delivering the exact same speech that Ansem Seeker of Darkness did at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 about the heart belonging to darkness and everything came from the darkness and everything will return to the darkness and darkness is just so cool. More or less confirming that, yes, we're looking at Terra's body. This is Xehanort.
Yeah.
We're going to refer to this as Terra-Nort because that is how the fanbase refers to it. The full name is Terra-Xehanort. Terra Xehanort, but I don't like that. People call him Terra-Nort.
I was thinking it's either Terra-Nort or Zera.
Well, it's not like a Dragon Ball fusion or anything. It's just Xehanort is fully in control. He needs like a younger body because he's old. So he just possesses Terra because he's a strong young dude who has control over the darkness.
So he's Voldemorting. If Voldemort was actually successful.
He kind of is, yeah. Later on, he's more Voldemorting, I'll tell you. But he's possessing Terra is what is going on.
Okay, so it's
and
not like Terra is fully gone. He's just not in control.
I don't think I have, or maybe that's in the final chapter, and that's why I don't have it here. We do see a cutscene inside of Terra's heart of Terra and Xehanort conversing. So Terra is still somewhere in there, but Xehanort is just way too fucking powerful to do anything against. So yes, Terra is technically still in there somewhere, but not in any meaningful way. It's just Xehanort with a new body. Which is confirmed by the fact that when he summons his Keyblade, it's Xehanort's Keyblade.
Yeah.
And this is the actual final fight because Terra somehow has attached his willpower or his soul, depending on who you ask, it might be either or both, to his armor. And his armor puts itself back together. There's nobody inside there. It's just his armor. And gets up to fight Xehanort to get his body back.
Well, the armor was summoned from his soul, right? So
this is the reason people think and say that the armor is summoned from the soul, because that's the only logical explanation as to why this armor can animate itself.
I see.
It's never really stated that the armor is made from the soul, but that's just like a reverse engineering. That's kind of the conclusion we've all come to together because of this scene.
Sure. So people were trying to be logical within this series.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
This, however, is the actual final fight of this campaign, and it's not a fun fight because he has all of Terra's abilities, and Terra is strong dude, very strong dude. That also includes the ability to heal himself. There's only a few bosses throughout the entire series that can heal themselves. For good reason, because it's a bullshit mechanic.
Yeah.
This boss can heal himself, because of course Terra can heal himself, because Terra's got cure spells on his loadout. I'm not entirely sure, actually. It would be interesting to test. I've never tested this. There's a distinct possibility that if you go into this fight without any healing spells on your character, that he can't heal himself. I don't know that for sure.
That would be fun. If you could...
Because he stole your body.
Yeah. If you... if you replay this game knowing that this is going to happen, just fully unload Terra, just get rid of all the extra things, seeing if that has any influence.
It's worth trying. I think that would be interesting. I think the whole idea behind this character being able to heal himself is because he stole your body. And you as a player have been able to do that throughout the entire game. But I've never really considered the fact that it might actually just be based on your current loadout, on like your inventory. I'm going to have to test that at some point. That's actually interesting.
My guess would be that it doesn't make any difference. That would be a lot of extra programming and extra stuff for the AI to consider during the fight. So I would say I would guess that it's just a standard loadout.
For the most part, yeah. I think specifically for the healing, I think they could have done that because a lot of the moves that this boss fight does aren't just like the normal moves that you as a character can do. They are like your special finisher moves that have that take what is effectively MP points, and that's just the moveset of this boss fight. And as a player, you can only ever have one of those equipped at a time, and this boss fight has like 5 of them. So his normal moveset wouldn't be changed, but it wouldn't be that troublesome to just check if the player has any cure spells in their loadout and enable or disable the possibility for the character or the boss to heal themselves.
Yeah, just the healing factor that wouldn't be that much.
Everything else is definitely not related to your character loadout because again it uses a bunch of abilities that as a player you can only have one at a time anyway. So that's
Is it just a is there any other sort of influence you as a player can have on this final fight? Because there is an quite a good example of that sort of mechanic in another game. In the Spider-Man PS4 game, there are a few side missions from Taskmaster, and he specifically looks at how you're playing and copies your most used moves, forcing you to do something else.
That's quite good.
Cool.
Yeah, that's not going on here at all. There's one other boss fight. It's an optional boss fight that you unlock after beating the game with any character. That does something similar to what I think might be happening here. And that is, if you use a healing spell, he will also use a healing spell. So you can't use healing spells against that boss fight. You can, however, use potions. But of course, potions take up inventory space. So you can only take an X amount of potions into the fight, where a healing spell you can keep infinitely doing because they're on a reload. So that is the closest that you get to that, I think. I don't think anything else really changes their behavior based on your playstyle or your character loadout or anything, except just maybe the healing in this fight, which, especially since that other fight exists where he does a heal spell when you do, it probably wouldn't be that difficult to reuse that for this boss fight.
Yeah.
Then again, it would be entirely like different trigger. Anyway, so you beat your own ass as your armor, and we see the Keyblade that has been formed and then destroyed through Ventus and Vanitas fusing, then fighting inside the heart, and then it explodes. The explosion slowly swallows up the now knocked out Terranauts and this dude, he's called the Lingering Will, because it's the lingering willpower of Terra. Slowly both get swallowed up by this explosion here, where the Lingering Will just sits down, accepts his fate, and vows that one day he will set things right.
I'll be back.
And that is the end of this campaign. Another fucking person just effectively dead.
Well, did we really see him dying? I mean, we know they're not dead, right? We know they're in trouble, but we know they're not dead.
Yeah, death is a flexible concept in Kingdom Hearts.
Well, just in fiction in general.
Yeah, death isn't very binary. It's more of a spectrum. I'm going to refill on water, and then we're going to do some reports. So, for the previous games, we've done the reports at the very end of the game.
Mhm.
We specifically are doing something different here because we're cutting Birth by Sleep up into 3 parts. The first part included a bunch of cutscenes that we're not going to talk about in this part or the next part. The next part is going to include the final chapter and the secret chapter. So we're slotting in the reports into this one because the reports mostly talk about Ventus and Terra anyway. They don't really have to do with Aqua.
Alrighty, let's get into it.
So, first and foremost that, if anybody's listening, would you like to explain what image just popped up on the screen?
I don't remember where this actually came from, but it's the gunshot, why would you do this? Meme with Xehanort's head on the one shooting and the other master being shot.
And that's what we're going to be looking at all throughout the entire report, because I needed something interesting to fill the screen visually.
Alright.
We're starting off with something that's not a report. We're starting off with a letter from Xehanort to Ericus. Because as we discussed in a flashback last time, Ericus and Xehanort didn't part the best of ways last time they spoke, because Xehanort was like, hey, I've got an ID. Genocide. Ericus, not a fan of that ID, tried to attack Xehanort. Xehanort, darkness blasted Ericus' face. Ericus at least still has his eyes, so that's something. This is the letter that Xehanort sends before coming back to witness the exam at the beginning of the game.
So this is the thing that made them cool again.
Yeah. So Xehanort writes, please accept my deepest gratitude for the invitation to witness your pupil's ascension to the office of true Keyblade Master. Meaning that I was wrong. This letter is not what clears up their relationship to the point where Ericus lets him back in. Ericus invited him and then Xehanort wrote this letter to apologize.
Huh.
Which is, Ericus is both a bad guy and has no fucking spine. Well, he doesn't anymore now because he's dead.
Well, Ericus was like, that guy with the genocide ideas. It's been a few years. Maybe he changed his mind.
Let's stay positive indeed and just assume that Ericus is open-minded and willing to give his friend another shot.
Yeah.
It was a heavy mantle our master placed upon your shoulders, naming you the successor. But you have nonetheless persevered and raised 2 masters yourself. I know it cannot be easy. I did terrible harm in the past over a petty difference of opinion about genocide. And then a few years ago, I selfishly thrust my own burdens upon you when I left Ventus with you. I think of you like a younger brother, and yet, the fool that I am, I have never availed myself of countless opportunities to apologize or thank you for opening your home to the boy and me and stuff. Yet not once have you blamed me. On the contrary, here you are inviting me to such an important ceremony. I intend to be here to give you all of my blessings. Our master chose their heir wisely.
Wait, hold up. Just to clarify, did I forget something from the last episode, or is this a reveal that Xehanort dropped off Ventus with Ericus?
I might have kind of skipped over that in either last time or this time, but when Xehanort pulls out the darkness from Ventus and creates Vanitas, Ventus kind of goes into shock, and it's kind of traumatic for more reasons than you can understand at the moment as well. And he's like, okay, I can't keep Ventus with me, both because he's a useful piece of shit now, and also Vanitas is going to absolutely destroy Ventus because they are still like very much connected, and if they're too close in proximity, it's not going to work. So he places Ventus with Ericus.
And Ericus unknowing of Vanitas' existence, I'm guessing.
I think we might see the conversation they have about that exact thing in the mobile game, but I don't think like Vanitas gets brought up at all. I think Xehanort just frames it as, hey, we had a training accident, he's kind of fucked up, and I feel too like responsible for his suffering to keep training him any further. Can you please complete this training?
I had a whoopsie. Can you fix?
Xehanort has a lot of whoopsies, which also is just his evil master plan.
Yeah, they're not really whoopsies.
Our master has chosen their heir wisely. Ours is a bizarrely ironic fate, to watch over the light from the shadows. But in the face of that, the warmth in your heart and unfailing dedication to the light impress me to no end. I have taken to wandering the world and seen much darkness hiding in the light. Lately, I fear that it has taken a turn for the worse. Perhaps Yensid already has told you about the unversed. These fledgling emotions derive from negativity, and I can now sense their presence in nearly every world. And on the topic of darkness, it's very much like, okay, we're done talking about what you want to talk about, now it's my time.
Mm-hmm.
We must speak of another matter that concerns me. One related to the upcoming ceremony. When I visited several years ago, your pupil TERRA drew my attention. His power is immense, to be sure, but within his heart I could see darkness just waiting to be awakened. I know this is none of my business, but I have my reservations about welcoming TERRA as a true Keyblade master without taking certain precautions. The traditional examinations, perhaps, to see if he truly has the mark of mastery? The choice is yours, of course, and I will humbly respect your decision. Take care, I eagerly await our long overdue reunion.
Well, that respect went out of the window fast.
Yeah, with all due respect, I'm gonna fucking murder you in 2 days. Or however long
It's your decision, as long as you don't count my meddling.
It's your decision, but don't you dare make him a master because I need his body. That's what's going on here.
Yeah, for my genocide
Yeah.
thingy.
Now we get into the actual report. Synod report number 1. Much time has passed since I left home, the home of my youth, behind. And in the myriad of worlds I have visited, I have gained much knowledge. On these pages, I intend to record a portion of that knowledge and put the course of my life to paper. Upon reflection, my life underwent the most considerable sea-changing when I arrived at that place. That sentence makes no sense. Yes.
It does not.
Yes, it began when I found a master, and another that I would call my brother, when I found a new home. Then there was the Keyblade. For what purpose was it begotten, and by whom? During my training as one of its wielders, the Keyblade existed so that we can watch over the light and protect it from the shadows. But is that the true answer? Could there be more to it than that? My heart sought knowledge, and sometimes, when I visited other worlds, though such travels were strictly forbidden on duty, I found what my heart had sought. So even in his youth, he didn't really like rules all that much.
Oh, yeah.
Synod report number 2. Our master instructed us to don armor while traveling between worlds, so that we might shield ourselves from the darkness. But in there, the lanes between, aka cylinders with bad textures on them, I could feel the force of it, the power. And from then on, I went without my armor's protection. I had been told that darkness would devour me, but what terrors could it possibly hold, so long as I found the strength to control it? The world is vast, and worlds within greater worlds, uncountable worlds. So many worlds. You get a world, everybody gets a world. Like the little islands, there are little dots in a great ocean between, and they all keep ignorant of each other, uncorrupted. Each world has its own order. Unlike us, they could not know of the other world's existence entirely, and we were never meant to enlighten them. So that goes back to the thing we talked about in Kingdom Hearts 1, I believe, the fact that we're kind of like not supposed to let other worlds know that there are other worlds, but like every character fails at this.
Mm-hmm.
Report 3. In ancient times, there were no such buffers in a larger world with no divisions. There was no walls of light enclosing smaller worlds from the darkness like there are today. Nothing preventing one from physically interfering with the world next to them. At that time, the world was filled with light, and a great many Keyblade wielders. Without buffers, the worlds began to squabble over ownership of the light. You see, they learned of the Keyblade's true use. War broke out as Keyblade wielders struggled to lay claim to the almighty entity known as Kingdom Hearts. Roll credits. Kingdom Hearts could be described as an aggregate of hearts. Worlds, too, have hearts, just like people. Each world's heart is concealed from sight, beyond the hidden door. By gathering all the hearts of the worlds in a single place, one may complete Kingdom Hearts. The concept, not the game. Report 4. And when Kingdom Hearts is completed, It is said that the one who opens the door shall bring about the creation of a new world. Such a feat is above any human. Or, to put it a different way, whoever opens that door will be reborn as something far greater than a human. Light and darkness are two sides of the same coin. Without darkness, there is no light. The Keyblade's wielders' great war over Kingdom Hearts was fought by the defenders of the light, servants of the darkness, those who sought to reconcile the two, and those motivated by nothing else other than a lust of power. A whole spectrum of thought was swept into the conflict, and the worlds that did not go to war found the war brought to them. In the end, the whole world was cast into darkness. That was how the ancient Keyblade War drew to a close. To this day, no one has ever managed to open the door to Kingdom Hearts. Sometime later, little light remained in the hearts of those few who gave rise to the new world we know today. One made out of many worlds, with walls around them, so that the Keyblade War would not be repeated.
So like, before the big old war, there was no, you didn't need like a gummy ship or whatever. You could just walk from one place to another.
Yeah, you could just walk
because
from,
there was no darkness, so you don't have the darkness between worlds. And then we had a big old war, and then what was left was a lot of darkness with a few spots of light.
That is, for now, a correct interpretation.
All right.
I do want to say that for the most part, everything was like filled with light. There was darkness, but that takes quite a bit of bullshit to explain how it actually like works and how it was different from what you might think of as darkness right now.
It's more like what I gather of it now. It's just a role reversal. Like before the big old war, there was a lot of light with a few spots of darkness. And now there's a lot of darkness with a few spots of light.
For the most part, that also checks out. There's some differences, but again, it takes a lot of other context that we don't have right now to explain those differences in detail. But for the most part, I think you got it.
All right. Then for now, we're fine.
Yeah, as far as like you're supposed to gather through and after playing this far into the series, you're entirely where you should be.
Cool.
Standard Report 5. At present, lanes and corridors that run between worlds may only be travelled by us using the Keyblade, and those who have given themselves over to the darkness. As the former, our duty is to cross those chasms between the worlds and guard against the latter, whose darkness corrupts and contaminates, so no other world will ever be lost again. Few Keyblade wielders remain now. I have heard of but a handful outside of the ones in my circle. But the world is vast, and there might be more of our kind out there. Okay, so I forgot about that. Apparently there are Keyblade wielders, potentially masters out there, aside from Erica's and like the ones I named earlier.
Maybe sort of somewhere.
Maybe
somehow.
Sort of somewhere, somehow. If that's the case, why they didn't bother showing up in Kingdom Hearts 1 when all the worlds were falling to darkness, why they didn't bother showing up in Kingdom Hearts 2 while Xemnas was making his own custom Kingdom Hearts, why they didn't show up even in 3, I'm just going to tell you, there's no Keyblade wielders that show up out of nowhere endgame style in 3.
Mm-hmm.
While there is a literal like war of light and darkness going on, I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is just not correct and there's no other Keyblade wielders out there because
either that or they have a bit of a Avengers syndrome where this is a solo adventure. So where are the other Avengers? They're on vacation or off planet or doing something else. Don't think about it.
Could very much be that. And to be fair, if they're anything like Yensid, for instance, they probably think, hey, that's not my problem. I'm going to stay the fuck away from that.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it could very much be the case. Anyway, in addition to the realm of light in which we reside, there's also a realm of darkness, and a realm in between that connects the two. The realm of darkness is most forbidden. I am told none who set foot in there have ever returned. Well, that's information we already knew. Report 6. There are 3 families of Keyblades. This is new info. The Keyblades of light that we wield, and then the Keyblades of darkness. The golden Keyblade that King Mickey has, that is a Keyblade of darkness. It is the inverted version, the balancing point of Sora's light Keyblade. So every Keyblade has a more or less palette-swapped inverted version, and that's a Keyblade of darkness.
Right. But Mickey ain't the dark boy, right?
No. But Xehanort's ain't a light boy, and he has a Keyblade of light.
That's a fair point.
Like, his Keyblade, as edgy and evil as it might look, where is it? This is a Keyblade of light.
What?
Yeah, that sounds ridiculous, I know. But assume, unless stated specifically that something is darkness related as far as Keyblades go, all the Keyblades we have seen are Keyblades of light. Except 2. Mickey's Keyblade, which is a Keyblade of darkness. Because it specifically is gotten from the realm of darkness. It's the counterpoint to Sora's Keyblade of light. And then there's also the 3rd Keyblade family, the Keyblades of heart. Let's go through the rest of this report before I interrupt myself again.
Yeah.
The 1st and 2nd families different only in origin. Keyblades of darkness are found in the realm of darkness, and their counterpart is in the realm of light. The 3rd type of Keyblade, the Keyblade of heart, came into existence when the world was reorganized after the Keyblade War. Without this key, Kingdom Hearts is forever beyond a person's reach. Only gathering the 7 pure lights are completely devoid of heartless, darkness, completely devoid of darkness, may forge the Keyblade of Hearts and open the door to Kingdom Hearts. And as stated before, opening this door arguably gives that person the power to be a god, pretty much.
Yeah. So he's talking about the 7 of light, the princesses with no darkness and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that sort of some sort of avatar thing that if one of those princesses dies, does a new one get born or chosen or whatever?
It's a lot more merchandisable than that even, because yes, those princesses of light. This is the thing that gets mentioned in Kingdom Hearts 3, because Kingdom Hearts 3, of course, you go to the Kingdom of Corona and Arendelle. And we already have 7 princesses of heart. So, of course, Rapunzel and Elsa and Anna can't be one of the 7. Except they can, because for plot reasons, the pure light power that existed in those princesses just decided to migrate to new people.
It's not even like if they die, it goes to someone else. It's just, I'm tired over here. Let's go somewhere.
Just this mission is over now, so this light is now moving on to a new host. Except for Kairi, because Kairi is a main character, so she still has it.
Yeah.
But the Keyblade of Heart, which is the 3rd Keyblade family, is the Keyblade that Riku has at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. That's made out of those 7 hearts.
That's the Keyblade.
No, that's it's the one that Sora stabs himself with at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1.
That one, yeah.
You could argue that is half of the Keyblade, because it's made out of pure light, and if you balance that with a pure darkness, that would then probably create the Keyblade. And I think the Keyblade would also fall into this category of Keyblade of Hearts, I think.
Yeah.
Because this entire fucking series wasn't complicated enough. Now we have Keyblade families.
Yay.
This is just... I do want to make clear that it's good to have this background information for a lore-related reasons, especially since you're not playing through the games with the natural pacing and stuff like that. None of this Keyblade family stuff actually explicitly comes back up as part of the story. It's just background to understand things that might happen in the future.
All right.
Report 7. 8. 7. 7. 7. I have uncovered the Keyblade's ultimate mystery. You see, besides the 3 families of Keyblades, there's another Keyblade. Which may sound like the same when spoken, but noted uniquely as Keyblade or X-Blade. And make no mistake, while it resembles a normal Keyblade, it does not. It is something altogether different. Keyblades are said to be man-made counterparts to Kingdom Hearts. The Keyblade, however, coexists with Kingdom Hearts. It is only forged when two hearts of equal power intersect. This is incorrect information, but we'll go with it for now. One heart of pure darkness and one heart of pure light. At the time of its forging, Kingdom Hearts appears. It must be noted, though, that this Kingdom Hearts is special. Unlike the Kingdom Hearts brought about forcibly and artificially through a collection of hearts of the worlds, this Kingdom Hearts is already perfect and a complete union of all the world's hearts. Surely, it was over that the ancient Keyblade War was fought. If so, the walls that divide the worlds today are of little consequence. With the Keyblade, all the hearts could be instantly reunited, and the Keyblade War be refought. Report 8.
Yeah.
My brother pupil, Ericus, only thinks in absolutes. He persuades himself that light is the only way, but forgets that light cannot exist without shadow. Now we get into
Not true.
philosophical debates again. I mean, the moment there's literally anything around the light, that is true. Unless it's contained within like an entirely sealed area, then you might have a point. But if there's like a room with one bright light and you put like a stick in it, that will create shadow.
If there's just one light source, then yes.
Yeah, and then we get back to the point, like if you have a counter light source that is at the exact right angle, and at the exact right power to like counteract that shadow without casting a different shadow, then you could argue, yeah, maybe there's no shadows there. There's only lights, but
whatever.
Anyhow,
different kind of light and darkness. So
first and foremost, that is very true. I believe that the balance of light and darkness is what sustains our world, but there's too much darkness that's being stamped out, disrupting that balance. Someone must tear down this tyranny of light and reorganize the world around it with darkness that creeps back in. Eric.
So he's saying everyone was living in harmony until the Fire Nation attack?
Well, what he is saying is that all things need balance.
Oh, right. As all things should be.
And he's going to go after a MacGuffin to instantly do that. So, yes, he literally is Thanos.
Yep.
But with a goatee and less purple. Ericus and I did not see eye to eye on this. I left, going to wander the worlds. This was perhaps when I first felt truly free. Since that day, I departed my boyhood home. But free to do what? I already shown the mark of mastery and become a Keyblade Master. But having passed over as a successor to like be the next school master, all that remained to me was the road of a teacher. That's not like in the school, just like a tutor. Originally, Keyblade Masters take pupils under their wings. Malleable minds in which to impress the Keyblade wielders' rules and blah, blah, blah. Our profession was kept alive for generations through this. Was my time drawing to an end? And then, after all I had accomplished, would I just simply be cast away at the place of my birth? Surely, waiting quietly for death is not what I should do. Not when there was still so much that I needed to see for myself. Powers help me, I thought. My body is so old, because I need myself a new body. Report number 9, we're getting there. We Keyblade Masters have a special gift. We can extract a heart, be it our own or that of another. By continuing this cycle, it is possible to remain in the world of the living forever. As a boy, I dreamed of seeing the farthest reaches of the world. If only I went far enough. There had to be a world out there in which no one has ever set foot. It's not how that works.
So he's looking for someone who can... I can show you the world.
He's looking for Agrabah. Yeah. Which is funny because Agrabah is actually like a pretty big part in the game where Xehanort is the main character. But entirely aside from Aladdin, because I don't even think Aladdin shows up in that game. If I were to open Kingdom Hearts' door first, then I can create a world in which light and darkness exist in equilibrium. So there I stood, with the vast knowledge I had gathered, slowly dying, with a newfound purpose. The next step was clear. I needed a new vessel. That is when I met a boy named Ventus and made him my pupil. We were destined to meet. And I could sense that there was a lot of potential inside of him. But our boy was too benign for his own good. So I came to the conclusion that he was too frail to serve as a new vessel. I decided to keep him around with a second purpose I had in mind. I would remove the darkness from his heart and split him in two. Then I would have my own heart of pure light and my own heart of pure darkness.
And then bring them together and end of the world stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But since Ventus was supposed to be Xehanor's new vessel, now we need a new vessel again, because the Ventus plan didn't work out. That's when he saw TERRA.
Whoopsie-daisy.
As was to be expected, Ventus lacked the constitution for such an ordeal. I was able to remove the darkness inside him and create a Vanitas, a heart of pure darkness. But Ventus drifted into the clutches of sleep. Ventus' heart of pure light and Vanitas' heart of pure darkness, if both could be made strong enough to clash one day, I know the Keyblade would be forged. But Vanitas took way too much out of Ventus' heart, and from that fracture, I could see the loss of Ventus' light was slipping away. The boy deserved a place to spend his final moments peacefully. And what should that come to other than my boyhood home? My legs took me there unbidden, as I stood on the same beach where I'd made a choice to leave so many years ago. I thought, not a single thing here has changed. Here, in this quiet world, time marches in place. Content that Ventus would be able to find peace here, I started to walk away. But just then, the boy held up his keyblade, and the light within him had not died. So, you probably didn't catch on to that, but his boyhood home, where he grew up before leaving to become a keyblade wielder, is Destiny Islands.
Oh, I was thinking wait, what? I was gathering from all of that his boyhood home was the school thingy.
No, he left his childhood home to go to that school.
Yeah.
But before that, he lived on a tiny island in the middle of a big ocean.
Oh, I was thinking that was a metaphor for, all the worlds within the ocean of darkness, but
It's both.
more literal. Oh yeah.
He compares the worlds being tiny specks of light in a world in a universe of darkness to his childhood home being a tiny speck of land surrounded by water. Which, as far as metaphors go, Kingdom Hearts does that quite often, representing darkness when it's a little bit more metaphorical as water.
Yeah, makes sense.
In a lot of the opening cutscenes for Kingdom Hearts 1, for instance, we get a shot of Riku standing in the water and then getting taken down under the water by a wave, which is very obviously supposed to be a metaphor for him falling to the darkness in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Mm-hmm.
So darkness and water are kind of like interlinked in Kingdom Hearts as far as like metaphors go.
All right.
Which, again, yeah, you're right, makes sense, because if you go into underwater, it's kind of dark.
Yeah. And, if you go underwater unprotected, you
also die.
succumb to the water or the darkness, or just, die.
I mean, even if you think you have protection, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're safe, apparently.
Yeah. Maybe not make a darkness vessel out of carbon fiber.
That's going to date this recording so badly.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, we're on the home stretch now. Report 11. Ventus and Vanitas were not matched in power. I could not train them together. Or Vanitas' darkness would have gnawed away at what little Ventus had left for his life. Of course, since I needed a place to put the boy where his light might flourish, the answer was obvious. Erica's and his absolutes. Considering how he'd parted ways, I expected some friction. But if anything, Erica seemed delighted to see me again. He is just as stupid as TERRA. He readily agreed to take care of Ventus. Now I only need to wait for the boy's heart to go stronger. I had not visited this second home of mine for some time, and discovered Erica's already had 2 pupils of his own. One of them named TERRA. I sensed something in. The boy, though well-intentioned, seeks power single-mindedly. And that can be a hunger for darkness. I had found my vessel at last. Oh, that's the last report. I thought there was 13 in this game as well. There's only 12.
Aha.
So we're doing one last time, and then we're done. Report number 12. The time has come. I have received word from Ericus that his pupils are to become true Keyblade Masters, Terra and Aqua. They will now be easy to lure into the outside world. But Ventus, I will get nowhere without him. Vanitas can feel some of what Ventus feels, and he says Terra is the key. Ventus has loved Terra like a real brother ever since they met and let him keep his old wooden Keyblade. It seems we have found a loose thread at which we can tug to unravel Ventus's heart. The first step is to get Terra alone. Then we need to plant seeds of doubt in Ventus. Let him carry his faint light as he chases his brother into the darkness. Let the darkness make his light stronger. Then let the light deepen within the darkness. If you're not following this, by the way, I don't blame you, because I'm just saying words at this point.
Yeah, this makes no goddamn sense. No. You know, put him into the darkness to make him more light. What?
I think what they're saying is put him in danger so he trains and gets stronger, and through that his light gets stronger. I think that's what they're getting at.
Yeah.
And then finally, when the two meet, the stuff of legends will become real. The Keyblade will be forged. And that is all of the fucking reports. They're a lot shorter than the other games, but there's still quite a lot of text there.
You know what I was thinking? We've had the whole thing of having a diary and then digitizing it and then reliving the things. Would that work with these?
Potentially. There's not really technology that's explored all that much. So
I mean, no real consequence to that, but no, I was just wondering.
But if they can digitize a book, they can probably digitize a journal.
Yeah,
I imagine. Yeah.
I mean that's literally what they did, digitize a journal.
Oh yeah, true. So this pretty much is the exact same thing then. I would assume. Yeah.
Unless, like, Jiminy Cricket's journals were just, descriptive of what's happening and not some vague philosophical bullshit.
Maybe, but I think the way those digital worlds got reconstructed isn't necessarily like scanning the words on the page and feeding them into ChatGPT. I think it's more like when those journals were being written, they were imbued with the memories of that situation. And that is what is getting read out. It's like the quantum metaphysical memory juice that was seeped into the pages that they read, not the actual pages. So with that,
the pages of a journal in this world have metadata that can be read out.
Yeah, pretty much. And I assume that no matter what you write, if you digitize these pages, it probably would be very boring. It probably would just be Xehanort sitting at a desk, writing these things. But you probably could do it. I'll plant the seed in your head right now, though. Because we're talking about digitizing books, and we know about one very specific book that is very interesting, a book of prophecies.
Right.
What would happen if you put that into a machine like that?
Ooh.
Wouldn't you like to know?
I guess we'll get to that.
I hope you like mobile games.
Oh, fuck.
That's it for now for Birth by Sleep. Next time we're doing Aqua. Her story, at any rate. And then we're done with Birth by Sleep, finally, and then we can get to ball rolling. Yeah, to more bullshit.
Yay.
We're getting close to 3, slowly but surely. Birth by Sleep has taken us quite a while, but I think that it's important to not rush through this. I could have made this all in like one part that skips over a lot of shit, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
For now, though, I need lunch, or well, actually, by this time, dinner. So we'll see you next time with Aqua.